G'day guys, how's it going? So in this video, we're going to start looking at loops in Rust, and we're going to do that by solving what we call the FizzBuzz puzzle. Now keep in mind, this is not the most optimal solution, but this will be a solution that we can use just to understand loops, okay? So the rules to this puzzle is as follows. We're going to count from 1 to 100. So we're going to iterate over 100 times. And for each iteration, we're going to check if the number is either divisible by 3 or by 5 or both, right? If a number is solely divisible by 3, we'll print the text fizz. If it's solely divisible by 5, we'll print the text buzz. But if the number is divisible by 3 and 5, i.e. it's say 15 or 30 or 45, whatever, we're going to print the word FizzBuzz. Cool? And then lastly, just to show how we could break out of a loop, when a number is divisible by 30, we're not going to actually print those numbers. Cool? So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set a value that can be updated in the loop. So I'm going to go let mute, because we want to mutate this one, and I'm going to call it loop value. And I'm going to set this to 0. All right? So this is the value that this is the variable we'll use to update in our loop. So now to create a loop, or one way to create a loop in Rust is to use the loop keyword. And this loop keyword basically allows us to have a left and right angle brace like this, and the contents of the loop goes inside here. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to ensure that the loop value gets updated on every loop. So we go loop value plus equals 1. So I'm using that compound operator, right, or that compound expression. So that's all good and everything, but obviously we're not actually printing anything at the moment. So let's go through those rules again. So firstly, we're going to count from 1 to 100, which we haven't done yet. We haven't actually restricted this loop to go 100 times through, right? So how we're going to do that is we need to find a way to break out of this loop when it reaches 100. And I'm going to use an if condition to do this. So we go if loop value is equal to 100, right? We're going to use this thing called break. And what this essentially does is say, well, we've hit a point where I don't want to loop anymore, just leave the loop. All right, that's essentially what a break does. It gets out of the loop. Cool. So just to indicate that we actually are printing only 100 times, let's do a print line down here. And actually, we should do this before the if, like so. And I'll just say we are on loop count, loop value, loop value. Okay. Now, if I run this program, what you're going to see is it'll say we are on loop, basically 1, starting at 1 and going all the way down to 100, right? So there's our first requirement done. We've been able to count from 1 to 100, right? So I'm going to remove this print statement, and we're going to do stuff inside here. Cool. So the next requirement is, and this is not really to do with loops, but we'll see more when we get to the last one. There'll still be stuff we need to do around loops. But let's solve the first one, which is when a number is divisible by 3, we're going to print fizz, right? So let's solve that by using an if, right? And we go if loop value modulus 3, so we're going to check for its remainder. If this equals 0, i.e. we know that it's equally divisible by 3, then we're going to print line the word fizz, right? So let's quickly test that to make sure that this is now working. So we'll come up and run. And what I should also do is log out what the loop value is so we can see that. Otherwise, we don't know what numbers those fizzes are associated to. Cool. So let's just run this one more time. And now we can see what numbers are associated to the fizz. So it's every third, right? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and so on and so forth, right? 24, 27, 30, 33, all the way up to 99. Cool. So that's this one solved. Now let's do the same for a 5. So I'm going to put else if loop value modulus 5 double equals 0. We're going to go print line loop value buzz. So at the moment, this is all just if stuff, but to make the loop worthwhile in executing, we wanted to do something. So run. Now what we're going to see is combined with fizz, we're going to see some buzzers, right? So 5 and 10 and at 15, it still says fizz at the moment, but remember that would also be a buzz, but we'd already hit this first if condition, right? So it's actually printing out fizzes for the moment, but we'll solve that in a second, right? With this third requirement. But then, yeah, as we hit 20, we get buzz again, 25 buzz, 30 still says fizz, 35 says buzz, 40 says buzz, and so on, right? So let's solve the issue of, the numbers at like 15 and 30, all that saying just fizz. And the way I'm going to solve that is I'm going to put an if around or an if above this that goes if, right, loop value mod 3 double equals 0 and, right, loop value mod 5 is also equal to 0, then we're going to do something. Then I can basically convert this to an else if, and this now becomes FizzBuzz, right? So we'll just copy this line, and now this says FizzBuzz. Cool. So let's just quickly see that in action, just to say that we've solved the third one. So I'll just come to the top of the file, run, and now if I scroll to the top here, we got fizz, we got buzz, we got fizz, buzz, fizz, and now FizzBuzz, right? We have FizzBuzz for 15 because that's divisible both by 3 and 5. And if we keep scrolling, we see lots of fizzes and buzzes. And then at 30, we see the same thing. 45, same thing. 60, same thing. So basically every 15th value, you're going to get FizzBuzz, right? 75, 90, and that's it, right? So this is now also working. So we've gotten to this point, right? We've set up all 4 of those. Now the last one, what we're saying is if it's divisible by 30, we don't want to print anything, right? We just want to leave. So what we can do is we can add another if before this one. And I can go if loop value mod 30 is equal to 0. Then we're going to use this special keyword called continue. And what that's going to do is it's going to say, don't execute the rest of the loop, right, in any way, shape, or form. Just basically drop out here and go to the next iteration, right? So this is an important keyword to understand. A break, right, which is the one down here, this gets out of the loop entirely no matter where you are and what the loop value is, right? This one doesn't get you out of the loop completely. It just skips the rest of this particular iteration of the loop. So basically this code will not be executed when the number is 30, right? Or when the number is 60, or when the number is 90, right? It just won't do any of this. And that's why we have the loop value incremented at the top of the loop. So we can dodge, the fact that if we had this below it, then once we hit 30, it wouldn't be able to go any further. In fact, I could show this, right? If I actually, first let's just see it working in action, and then I'll show you a couple of gotchas, right? So we'll run this. And now what we're going to see is we see FizzBuzz for 15, but when we come down looking for 30, it's not there, right? Same deal, 45 FizzBuzz. If we look for 60, it's not there. Cool. So that's all the rules defined, and that's how we can use a simple loop to achieve that. But let's talk about a few things that we need to be mindful of. The first one is if we don't increment a counter, right, we're going to get stuck, right? And the reason why we're going to get stuck is essentially we're in a situation where we're not updating the value. Therefore, when we get to the very bottom here, we'll never reach 100. The loop value will always be 0, right? So everything in here will just execute for 0 all the time. And in fact, it will just loop forever. And I can show you that very quickly here. So if I run, outside the warning, we're going to see that basically, sorry, I'm on a virtual machine, but down the bottom it just says building, and it can't even build the application because it doesn't know where it ends, right? It's like, I can't even build this thing because you haven't given me an out, right? So we have to terminate this. In fact, it's not building, it's running, I should say. We have to leave the entire thing, terminate the whole program. So we can't do that, right? That's bad. We also can't not have this check at the bottom. Right? If we don't have this check at the bottom, well, we're no longer just doing up to 100 anymore. We're looping forever again because we have no way to break out of the loop, right? So if I run this, you're going to get the same problem, but now you're going to get a whole list that just goes on forever. And that might be what you want. Say you're doing a game engine or something, and you want it to loop for a very long time, you could do this. But essentially, eventually, I think you need something to break out of a loop. Otherwise, it's just going to continue forever like this and use up a lot of your CPU, right? Which we don't want to do because we only want to do the first 100. Cool? So let's just cancel that or terminate that program and put this back in. All right. So now that we've covered all that, it's a lot to think about, especially because I added some custom logic in there. But the main piece is you need a way to get out of the loop. So you need to put a break in somewhere. And if you want to skip an iteration in the loop, you can use continue. And to loop, do a very general loop, you can just use the loop keyword. Now, that's not all the loops. That's just the first loop we're looking at. But there'll be future videos on other types of loops. But that's all I'm going to do for this video. So I'll see you all in the next one.